I thought it was the follow. It's not the follow through. It is a high stick. As watches the follow through, as I watched it, was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins nowhere close. It was the pass by Connor McDavid. So
Draisaitl back. Bouchard moving in. Inman scores! Went off a Canuck stick, and the Oilers have even the series.
Game 2 between the Canucks and Oilers reached another gear of intensity, and we saw a little bit of everything. Big hits, superstar domination, and controversial officiating. Both these teams made adjustments to each other after Game 1, so let's break it all down and what it means for the rest of the series. Now, after a shocking Game 1 comeback, which saw Vancouver storm back from a 4-1 deficit, we were eager to see how Edmonton would respond. McDavid was held without a shot in a postseason game for the first time in his career. That is a testament to how good the Vancouver Canucks played him in Game 1, but overall, the Edmonton Oilers' details in their game started to slip, and the result was blowing a 3-goal lead. Now, early in the first in Game 2, the Canucks strike first off a brilliant play from JT Miller. We covered this same look earlier in the playoffs against Nashville, but the Canucks' power play and their looks run through the threat of JT Miller's shot. Because the guy can absolutely rip it from that left flank, penalty killers are forced to overcompensate and block the shot attempt. This can cause passing lanes to open up, down low, or even cross ice. Similar to the play he makes in Nashville, this play in Game 2 is all about his body language. The toes are pointing in the direction of the net, the top arm is separated, and he's staring down the goalie. Everything here indicates that he's going to shoot, but sign JT Miller up for acting school because he puts on a hell of a performance to fully sell the shot, and then he slides it over to Pettersson, who gets his first of the playoffs. After that, the Oilers would get a chance to get their lethal power play going once again, and of course, it's the cheat codes in McDavid and Draisaitl to tie the game. Now, the chess match of adjustments and how hard it is to stop this power play was on full display in Game 2. In our Game 1 breakdown, we talked about how Edmonton's power play found a 2v1 down low against Vancouver's Diamond PK. They exploited the space on the goal line against the lone defender and went cross-crease to score. Vancouver adjusted by taking away that lane, so the Oilers responded by stacking Draisaitl and McDavid on the same side of the ice. So instead of the power play isolating this defender 2-on-1 like they did in Game 1, they choose to isolate this killer pressuring, and Draisaitl makes no mistake. Now, the physicality of this series went to another level in this game, and it's very, very clear that each team is trying to make life hard on either superstar, specifically Quinn Hughes. He ate some good checks in Game 1, and in Game 2, the Oilers didn't stray away from that strategy. The Canucks transition game thrives off of the play of Hughes, and if they can get him even hesitating for just a second, the Oilers have done their job. There was some more rough stuff as well, as Hoglander takes an interference call. Derek Ryan doesn't like it, so he gives him an all-time stick lift to the cojones, just right in the hog for Hoglander, and that creates some space for some 4-on-4 hockey. Vancouver has an offensive zone draw. JT Miller wins it clean. They go D to D, send traffic to the net, and get rewarded with a tip-in goal from the Brock star himself. The 2-1 lead for the Canucks lasted very shortly, as the Oilers would respond right away with McDavid forcing a turnover up the boards to Draisaitl. There's maybe no one better making plays on their backhand than Leon, and he finds McDavid's boot. It fortunately bounces to Ekholm, and he ties the game. Now, this is where things get fun and controversial. Officiating is always a hot topic for fans, and both sides had a field day with the refs in this one. There was a missed high stick on Hyman. There was also a slew foot on Hughes that could have been called. And of course, there was the McDavid high stick on Quinn Hughes that drew blood and didn't result in any penalty. A little flashback to Gretzky's high stick on Gilmore in '93, but despite Hughes pleading his case, the refs wouldn't call it. Canucks fans online think it's rigged, Oilers fans think it's the same, everyone hates the refs, and nobody is happy. Welcome to playoff hockey. Regardless of the officiating, both teams have to stay calm and keep their discipline because either team's power play is extremely dangerous. Now, as we near the end of the second, the Oilers force Zadorov to the outside, and again, as a shooter, knowing the tendencies of modern goalies, Zadorov makes an extremely calculated play. Nowadays, almost every single goalie is going into the RVH when the puck heads near the corner. You've probably heard that acronym a lot, but the RVH is a goalie technique that stands for reverse vertical horizontal. And according to the goalie coaches, it shouldn't be used when the puck is more than 1 to 2 stick lengths away. Zadorov catches Skinner in the RVH sleeping at the wheel, and he goes upstairs to give the Canucks the lead. That goal is almost identical to the one he scored in round 1 against Saros, and no one told me this guy turns into prime Nick Lindstrom come playoff time. That's a great pre-scout from Zadorov and the Canucks, and he's been a fantastic add for the Canucks so far in this postseason. Now, in the third, McDavid and Draisaitl completely took over the game. Great players don't need much, and we see just how quickly one mistake can snowball into a full-blown disaster. Soucy tries to make a big hit at the line, he clips Pettersson in the process, and that leaves a 50-50 puck for McDavid and Myers. McDavid makes a great play just to poke it by him, and McDavid has a step to just explode into the zone. He's actually got so much speed that he has time to slow down and hit the brakes to throw off Silov's timing, and he goes backhand forehand to tie the game. From there, the Oilers' top dogs just kept laying on the pressure. Like I said in our Game 1 breakdown, the Oilers' motion and creativity in the O-zone was going to cause trouble for Vancouver in their own end if they remained too passive. In this game, the Oilers stacked their top line with Draisaitl, Hyman, and McDavid, so they were easily able to interchange and hold onto the puck on the perimeter until they either created a breakdown or just flat out exhausted the defenders. In the third, the Canucks only had 2 shots on goal, and Edmonton had 7 slot shots compared to Vancouver's 1. Canucks coach Rick Tocchet talked about it in the postgame, but when they finally got possession in their own end, the Canucks just kept flipping pucks out and let Edmonton reload. Tocchet wanted his guys to have the patience to skate the puck and make a play and to get back on offense. Draisaitl and McDavid were able to kick into another gear in the third because they kept getting possession. Despite the push from the Oilers, this game would require OT. Speed through the neutral zone is what every team strives for on every possession, but when you have a McDavid, things simply become unfair. McDavid rounds the net, and once he gets going with the crossovers, it's over. Vancouver's in their 1-2-2 in the neutral zone, and they actually do a great job at staying tight and protecting the middle. But the skill of McDavid and Draisaitl to make one pass at this speed and receive it on entering the zone is just incredible. These guys are just the masters at creating these mini 2v1s all over the ice, and all that speed forces Vancouver's players to back up. All 5 Canucks collapse to the middle. Draisaitl has space to give it to Bouchard. He steps in along the wall, throws one on net, and oh no. It goes off of Ian Cole again and into the net to end this game in OT. The guys leading the series in goals scored, unfortunately, they're all on his own team. Lucky goal for Edmonton, but when your process is right, you get good bounces. Oilers take Game 2 and head back home with the series tied at 1. After the game, the narrative was certainly surrounded by officiating, and Coach Rick Tocchet had to say this post-game.
Rick, just your thoughts on the general flow of the game in terms of the whistle and the officiating tonight.
Tough job. The only thing I don't like is the slew foots. Like, I like Kelly and Eric, and maybe they missed them. There's a couple of slew foots there on Huggy I didn't like. But other than that, what are you going to do? It's a tough job. They're in a tough, there's a lot of stuff out there tonight.
The officiating on both sides were certainly controversial, but the main reason why this game was the result that it was because the big dogs in McDavid and Draisaitl showed up to play. They both logged in over 27 minutes and both had 4-point nights to take over the game. So, what did you think of Game 2, the officiating, and just the series as a whole so far? Drop a comment down below, and if you want to see more breakdowns in other series, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications.